Welcome to the first of the Park Kids to Park Dads Disney World podcast. My name's Adam, here joined my brother Mitch.
How's it going, everyone?
And essentially, what we've been talking about for a while is we've got a ton of experience, both growing up and now as adults with our families in going to Disney World. So we wanted to share some of our likes, our dislikes, our hopes and dreams for the park, and the kind of the history that we have with it. So I'm going to kick it over to Mitch. Mitch, why don't you give us a little bit of your Disney background?
All right, thanks, Ed. Welcome, everyone. So I've been obviously a big Disney guy my entire life. I've been to the parks myself upwards of 15 times. Anywhere from short weekend trips to 10, 12 days. Also participated in the college program, so I was a Disney cast member on 3 separate occasions. So back in college twice and after graduation, I took in that Disney training and that Disney discount for sure. So yeah, I'm a big Donald Duck fan, and I have to say my favorite park is EPCOT.
Nice. And Adam, I'm Mitch's older brother. I've been probably close to 20 times at this point. Same as Mitch, from the big family trips when we were younger to when I was college age and able to afford the shorter trips. And now I have 4 kids. Mitch has 2, and we've been now together, and we've been separate with our families as well. We're both DVC members as well now, so
Good point.
definitely utilizing some of the benefits of that as well. So, wanted to kind of give a different perspective. I've watched and listened to a lot of different podcasts, and some of this stuff will be the same as others. Essentially, we're all talking about the same place, but just wanted to give kind of our spin on how things have changed over the years from our perspectives. So at the end of the day, these are just our opinions and how we feel about it. So our nostalgia may be different from yours, but feel like we can offer as good of an opinion as anybody else. And, when we're talking about ourselves, right? So,
Yeah.
So from there, kind of wanted to track us to kind of one of our first experiences in Disney. So, Mitch, I know you went when you were little, but why don't you kind of take us through your first Disney memories?
Well, it's something that still gets talked about to this day. I went down with my grandparents and aunt and uncles around the age of 6, 7 years old, 6, 7. And at that time, my grandparents had a like cottage or manufactured home outside of the park, so that's kind of where we stayed. And that was my first Disney experience. And I wasn't quite yet tall enough to go on Splash Mountain, to go on the bigger rides. But I do remember that I had a wallet with me that I used to carry around everywhere. And at one point in time, this is my uncles and our uncles still talk about it and give me a lot of flack to this day. One time in the restroom, I had the wallet tucked under my chin and happened to drop that bad boy in the urinal. Well, at that age, I wasn't going fishing, but there was money in there, so my uncle did bite the bullet for me and get that out. But so that's one of my earliest memories that I don't think I'll ever forget or let somebody let me live it down. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have too many memories of the park at that age, outside of, like I said, not being able to ride on some of the rides I was really wanted to get on, to the point where my grandparents tried to convince me to wear socks, like extra layer socks in my sneakers, so I get an extra inch or two to go on the rides. But that would have been very uncomfortable in 80, 90 degrees. So, but yeah, what about you, Ed?
Yeah, that is a story that does get brought up quite a bit. Your wallet story. I would say the first one I remember, I've seen videos of other ones, but was a road trip. We're up in Western New York, and it was a road trip with my grandparents and aunts and uncles. and we drove from up here down to Florida, and it was my grandpa had a Buick, I think it was a Roadmaster back then, and going down about, I think, West Virginia, North Carolina ballpark. Again, I was probably 6. The car overheated. So I remember being on the side of the road wondering why we were stopped for so long. And my grandpa and my uncle walked however many miles to get antifreeze to dump into the radiator. And then it was enough to get to a shop, and then they worked on the car. We spent a day or some time getting it squared away so we could get down to Florida. So that was my initial on the way down. And then I do remember, because this would have been the early 90s, I do remember going on the boat in Magic Kingdom, and over by Frontierland, and going on that. And I have some pictures and some videos of me and my cousins. But that was also back when Mickey's and Minnie's house were a thing over in, well, it's now the circus area or whatever it is. But just going through the house and thinking that was the coolest thing ever, that Mickey and Minnie lived here, through the eyes of a 6-year-old. So that's my first initial memory. Got a ton more, obviously, as I got older, and can kind of replay those things in my brain. But yeah, it was interesting. I have since driven to Disney 4 or 5 times as an adult. But my first one, yeah, drove you to the college program or home from the college program on more than one occasion. But that's my first initial, right? So can you tell me, Mitch, what I didn't mention earlier, my favorite park is also EPCOT. I think we have different reasons for that, but can you tell me what your favorite ride was as a kid, or what the ride you were hoping to get on? Any of the parks at that time? Yeah, Animal Kingdom wasn't a thing, but
I would have to say, as a kid, I really enjoyed Peter Pan's Flight of Passage.
Peter Pan's Flight, yeah, Flights of Passage.
Flights of Passage. Oh yeah, you're right. Peter Pan's Flight. And a close second would be Tower of Terror.
Okay.
So as a kid, those are my 2 favorite. Now that's changed as I've grown up and got a little bit older. But nowadays, my favorite, and we'll get into this, I guess, but at Epcot would be Mission Space, or Spaceship Earth. Sorry,
Spaceship Earth. Yeah, no one likes Mission Space.
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't even ride it anymore.
It's lived its life, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll say that my favorite ride as a kid, which I can't do anymore because I'm old, but I used to love doing the teacups and rides like that. That's fun. Like at a Ferris or at a carnival, be like the Tilt-A-Whirl, and those kind of rides. Those are my favorite. That and like the Scrambler, were my favorite back then. I'd get on it because everyone else was getting on Tower of Terror, but I did not like the drop at all. I wasn't a big fan. But
yeah, I forget Tower of Terror. When I was on it one time was with Grandpa Kaczynski, and we got off, waited in line, got off, and they asked me, did you like the ride? Did you like the ride? I was like, yeah, it was awesome. And then the cast member heard that, and he's like, oh, well, do you want to go back on again? And I was like, yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Try to get you a little bit of, sprinkle a little Disney magic on you there. And
yeah, nope. Denied.
Fair enough. So we, Mitchell mentioned he was in the college program a few different times. Mitch, what spots did you work at when you were in the college program?
So on my first round trip there, I was at ESPN Club, RIP. Gone too early, gone too soon. Second time I was at the Hollywood Brown Derby. I did the culinary program. So I went to Johnson & Wales, cooking school and got a bachelor's degree from there. So as part of the program, or part of my college, I had to do internships, externships. So that's how I got accepted into Disney. But yeah, my second time was the Hollywood Brown Derby, and then my last adventure was the Yachtsman Steakhouse for half of it, which was a little bit longer of a program, and then the other half I did Pop Century. So I got to do a little bit of managerial training and work on in my last program.
Awesome. Which was your favorite of the three or four?
For the people, ESPN. For the actual atmosphere of like the job and stuff was been Brown Derby. I think those are my favorites. Food wise, I love like the excellence of food. Yachtsman Steakhouse, hands down, was a more elegant menu, more fine dining. But I mean, I guess they all had their own reasons why. But yeah, three big different places. Pop Century is just volume. Learned a lot about ordering and waste and all that kind of stuff at Pop Century.
Gotcha. What's difference between working in the parks versus the hotels? I would assume as well, right?
Yeah, big difference. A lot of my friends, obviously, that I met and I still talk to today, a lot of them were at parks, and the hours are much different. And I don't mean to put a bad twist on it, but a lot of people called it the Tragic Kingdom. If you were placed in Magic Kingdom, it's because of the long hours. You get a little bit more pay because of where you're working, because of the hours, the amount of people you're dealing with. But as a whole, people did not enjoy, unless you're out front, like as a custodian or making the magic per se for people.
Right.
If you're in ride ops, people did not really enjoy their jobs.
Gotcha. Okay.
That I encountered. Yeah.
Makes sense.
On the hotel side, your restaurant's hours are your restaurant's hours. Yachtsman, only open for late lunch, early dinner, and then you're closed by 9, 10 o'clock. ESPN Club, I had the pleasure of working there during the Super Bowl one year. That was Baltimore, Pittsburgh. So that was an experience, and I got to see the Super Bowl parade. Then the couple days later, so that was pretty awesome. Santonio Holmes was on the car with Mickey Mouse.
Corner of the end zone. Mm-hmm.
Yep, yeah. So he was the main guy of the parade. So that was a really cool experience.
Very nice. That's one thing I've always wanted to do is work down in Disney. I had the opportunity a couple times, but with the transition, it was post kids and stuff, and a lot of people are aware it's difficult to relocate across the country with a family. So no, I think that's cool. It's the college program being a program that a lot of people get to experience, but you doing it multiple times, I think gives you a unique perspective as to, you can kind of take in the whole experience when you've done like traditions more than once and you've done those kind of things to take part in that. So that's really cool. So we mentioned earlier, we both have kids. So that therein lies the park dads part of it as well. So currently I have, there's your Donald Duck dad shirt. There you go. I have 4. I have twin 12-year-olds, girls, a 9-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old son. And we've been with the kids now. They're Disney spoiled, but probably I think 7 times over the course of the last 12 years we've been to Disney. So
yeah, I have a 5 and a 6-year-old, and my kids have all been to Disney 5 times now, including this most recent trip in September. That would be their 5th time. Mm-hmm. And I think I went to Disney maybe 5 times by the time I was 20. So big difference there. And but yeah, Disney spoiled is definitely the right term for it.
Yeah, it's interesting too, and we'll touch on this in later pods and stuff too. But just how traveling and doing the parks has changed over the years for us, especially now with kids, or most recently with kids. The way what you do, when you do, how you do, and both the limitations and the expectations around what you do during a park day, or a down day for that matter. And I think there's a lot of nuance, and it depends on the family, depends on the people, depends on the time of year and the weather and all this other good stuff. But I'm excited to break into that down the road a little bit. I
Yep.
think it's something that can go even between us, grew up together, obviously, but we even do things quite a bit differently as well. So I mentioned earlier, we'll do at the end of every episode or during an episode, we'll do either some type of game or ranking or two truths and a lie with Disney, something, right? We'll try to mix it up a little bit and make it a little interesting. So for our pilot episode, we both mentioned that EPCOT was our favorite park. So what I'd like to do is we'll go back and forth on this one for one, but do a Mount Rushmore of EPCOT. So it doesn't have to be just a ride, doesn't have to be current, can be a theme, can be a food, can be an experience, could be whatever. So why don't you hit us, Mitch, with your first Mount Rushmore? And to be clear here, I have no idea what Mitch is going to say. He has no idea what I'm going to say. So our reactions will be live and in the moment, I'm sure, with agreeing or disagreeing. So hit me with your first one.
Well, for me, being a food background, I think food and wine is really my number one at EPCOT. I am a big drinker. I had my 21st birthday in Disney, drinking around the world with my college buddies. So that was pretty awesome. So it's more of a memory for me and keeps the nostalgia going. But I love Food and Wine Festival at EPCOT. So that's my number one.
That's a good one. I mean, I enjoy it a lot as well. I love all the different pop-ups that come up from, all over the world. So more than just obviously the normal countries. It seems like there's a festival now
For
at any given time. I do remember back when it wasn't a thing. There was always garden and then there was food and wine. And then there was times where there weren't. Would you voice it as a positive? Obviously it's your number one, but food and wine is also the busiest time. So it's also the most difficult time to be in EPCOT.
Yes and no. So there are times, obviously when it first kicks off, but you hit that September lull. I think kind of like when we were there this past time was a good, experience. Like it wasn't overly crowded. You could still wait, 5 minutes in a line and you're getting what you need to get. So, I think early on when it kicks off, I think at the beginning of August, it is a madhouse. And as you roll into November, as the holidays, you have Halloween and Thanksgiving, so you get that change over to Christmas time, and so I think that brings a lot of people back in. Weekends, I mean, stay away. I think it's way too crowded on a weekend. I saw a video on TikTok the other day, actually, where people couldn't even exit the park. It was at a standstill. People waiting, and it's like herding cattle to the point where at a shoulder to shoulder, nowhere to move. So there are times that happens. Excuse me. But yeah, I say overall, I think that you got its ups and downs. During midweek is the time to go. That's when I like to go to Disney anyways. And I try to stay away from the weekends unless you're doing a water park or a not so scary party on a Sunday when the park's not going to be that busy early in the morning. Then you hop somewhere else.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I agree with you. That's one thing we'll agree on is weekends try to do non-parks or Animal Kingdom or something if we can, to not be as busy. But my first one, frankly, is the iconic EPCOT thing, Spaceship Earth. It is. I've been on it dozens and dozens of times, I'm sure, but it's a must-do. It's a picture as soon as I walk in. It's a picture as soon as they turn on the lights of at night and get all the different colors on it and all that kind of good stuff. It's a slow ride, obviously, and I thank the Phoenicians for that. But it's one of my favorites. It's got a lot of nostalgia. It's one of the mainstays over the years. So that's my number one.
Yeah. I was genuinely, I mean, I was kidding, but little hurt the last time we were down there that it was closed for reno. So, I mean, that is definitely my solid number 2. And I'd say it's probably 5149 as 1 and 2 for Food and Wine and Spaceship Earth. I mean, how many TikToks do I send you or references that we make back and forth just on that ride? So it's iconic, like you said. And it's, I don't disagree. It's one of the best rides, I think, in all of Disney. And being a big history buff guy myself, it's right up there.
Perfect. Well, since that's your 2, I'll jump to my 2, and it's probably on your list as well, I guess. But it is Living with the Land.
Living with the Land. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knew that was coming.
Another slow ride. And my kids have grown tired of Dad saying, "Well, yeah, but we're going on the land now." But it is one of my absolute favorites. It's chill. It's something new or different or interesting every time. Nothing mind blowing, obviously, but it's cool when you go through, and they've done some things over the last handful of years or so with the display and the new signs and the little pond when you go through that first turn of the land there and all that kind of stuff. And then, hey, they used to have alligators over here, or hey, they had sturgeon. Now it's tilapia. Now it's hybrid bass. They always have shrimp in these containers. Sometimes they don't. There's little stupid things like that I enjoy going on.
The evolution of like the fruits and vegetables, the different ways they grow them, like that's all changed too. Like over the years, where they never had upside down plants. Like so that that came obviously later on. So definitely some cool changes throughout there. And then they decorated for the festivals and different seasons and stuff. So
yeah. So that's my number 2. What's your number 3?
The original Norway ride.
Okay.
Obviously, it's Frozen now. Same track. I've been on it once as Frozen, and none of the faces worked. So there was that challenge, bringing my daughter standing in line, her first time going on it, and we ended up getting a fast pass back to it, or lightning lane back to it, because it did break down several times in the time we were waiting in line, on top of it not working when we were on it. So yeah, the original Norway ride, I was a big fan of. So that's my number 3.
I'll be completely honest with you, not a shot at your pick here. For me, it was always a throwaway ride. But when we were in Norway, I'd go on it. Like, oh yeah, well we're here. Let me jump on it. But we've been on it a few times as Frozen, but I refuse to wait in line.
Oh yeah,
Frozen.
70 minutes all the time. No matter what, it's 70 minutes.
Yeah, I can't. Crazy. I can't physically. I could physically. I can't mentally. Stand in line for that ride. And then all right. So my 3rd, I would say it's Living Seas, but not for. I'm a big fish aquarium person, as Mitch knows. I now have a salt tank, and I have a 1,300 gallon. You got a tank right there. I got a 1,300 gallon cichlid tank as well. But the reason it's Living Seas is my wife and I did the behind the scenes, one of the Disney experiences there. So we got to swim in the large tank. So if you see the people kicking around in there at some point, someone with the sea turtles and all the different fish and the sharks and the rays and all that stuff, we got to do that. And so they give you behind the scenes of everything from the pumps to the dietary stuff to the manatees, everything. And then at the end, you get to swim with the fish in the big tank there. Not the dolphins, but all the other fish.
I've always wanted to do that. That's so cool.
It was awesome. It really, to be honest, wasn't that expensive for being in Disney, right? It wasn't crazy. Suggested if you're not afraid to snorkel, it wasn't the folks you see in the scuba diving, but it was the snorkeling, and it was a blast. So that's my number 3. You want to round us?
I'm going to go to 4 or 5. So I mean, Living the Land is probably my 4th. For the same reasons. And if you want to get particular, I'm going to throw a fifth out there just because I don't know if you've ever done it or even heard of it. Party for the Senses. So that was an event that happened when Food and Wine first launched. It's a private exclusive party you have to be like specially invited. And I got to first work the event as part of the Brown Derby. We had a table or a catering, private catering for them. Then I got to attend it because I got to work it. So, and it's a different setting as just a guest. And it was fantastic. Like it's top end, like high end hors d'oeuvres, live music in the backstages of, where England is or the UK, those big red gates there, like by the telephone booths.
Mm-hmm.
So those doors open up and it's a big catering area, big catering facility. And, I got to experience that, and it was just awesome. Like one of the best days I had at Disney. Obviously came from when I was working there, but 100%, like that's really cool experience.
That's sweet. Do they do weddings and stuff back there too? I feel like I've seen that somewhere.
And a lot of the private events, like people rent out parts of the park. That's where their catering and stuff happens.
Gotcha. Okay. I think I heard something not too long ago on a different podcast actually, that when President Nixon came to, was Nixon or Reagan? I think it was Nixon. No, I don't remember. There was a president, and he came to EPCOT, and that's how he came into the park. They went into the back entrance behind the UK, and they came through those doors, and that's how they went. They went around. This is something I could have looked up, I guess. I didn't think about it, but they went around the countries that way. So
that's really cool. Yep.
I'm going to throw an honorable mention out there, and you can feel free to do so after. Honorable mention for me was the old, and this is only because of the sheer interestingness, newness, craziness of this ride. But I really enjoy Guardians, and I am not a spin person. I mentioned teacups earlier. If I go on them now, I'd be sick for an hour and a half. But I will put my body through what it takes. Guardians is the first ride of the day for me because if I do it later, I'm just not going to feel good. But the sheer, I don't know, just uniqueness of that ride is awesome. So that's my honorable mention for my top five. But my fourth thing is a little thing, but it is the popcorn, the caramel popcorn that you get at the shop where you can buy all the different kinds of Werthers and all that kind of stuff. But the fresh caramel popcorn hits different. It is.
Yeah, you and Jess both.
It is an amazing thing. There was a stretch where I'd just buy two because one was going to be gone as we walked, and then I'd have another one.
And you had one for the hotel.
Yeah. So
that's great.
That's my fourth.
And go fifth because I've had Living in the Land.
Yeah, hit your honorable mention. Yeah.
Soarin'.
Hmm.
I enjoy Soarin'. I mean, it's a classic at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember waiting an hour and 20 minutes to go on Soarin' when it, first couple of years it rolled out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they added in the big screens and interactiveness, which you don't even wait in line for anymore because it's not that long of a wait.
Right.
But yeah, no, I like Soarin'. And I like the original Soarin'. Going over the ocean and I mean, they have the great
California one
stuff and the California one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say when we were there most recently, it was awesome to just, we essentially walked on a ride. We happened to go down there to grab some food out of that pavilion. And I was like, oh, Soarin's 10 minutes. And it takes 10 minutes to get to the pre-show anyways. So
right. Yeah.
So that was great. So, so that's our Mount Rushmore for EPCOT. And, we'll rank some stuff later. We'll rank some rides. We'll rank some experiences. We'll talk hotels, on property, off property, perks, what to do, when to do, how to do, from our points of view. And definitely there'll be some more nostalgia down the road as we talk about some old trips. We'll we'll splice in some old video that we have, some instances. I can picture the old Danny crying at Disney Studios when it used to be
Hollywood
MGM.
Studios.
Yeah. I can picture Ryan dancing next to Rock and Roller Coaster on the wall, making in the videos here.
Yeah. Purple Life Vests. Yeah, get it out there. Go ahead.
Purple Life Vest. That's a good one. Maybe that'll be a cover, a thumbnail one day.
Great.
But
He's
yeah,
just a little guy.
it's just a little guy. It's just Jake pointing at you. But I mean, for a first run, wanted to just kind of get the info out as to what, why, and how, and have a little fun at the end with the ranking. So anything else you want to throw in, Mitch, for what people have to look forward to, or?
No, just that I guess we can talk about, I mean, we're talking eras of the original castle, the original paint job, to birthday cake castle, to what it currently is, and then now it's going back to the original paint job. So just as a time frame wise, what we're looking at, early 90s through present day. So you're talking at a 35-year span of Disney, and I think that's pretty awesome. Not many people could say that they've been through and experienced all that. So hopefully you guys stick around for this long, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks so much.